class!
All right, everyone. Today we're going to learn how to draw rocks and stones in pen and ink. We'll take it step by step, so have your pen and paper ready and feel free to pause as you draw along. Let's begin with the basic shapes. Before we even touch the pen, lightly sketch a few rock shapes in pencil. Think about simple forms: a rounded stone, a blocky rock, maybe a long flat slab. Take a moment to sketch 2 or 3 shapes now. Remember, rocks are rarely perfect. Allow the edges to be uneven, a little lumpy, or chipped. Now, once you have those shapes, let's switch to our pen. When outlining, don't draw a perfectly smooth contour. Rocks have character. Use slightly broken or varied lines. Let your hand loosen up a little. Go ahead and outline your rocks now, and don't worry if the line wobbles. That wobble adds realism. Next, let's think about where the light is coming from. Choose one direction, left, right, or above. This will help us decide where to place shadows. Point to the side your light source is coming from, just to remind yourself. Good. Now start adding structure. Rocks have planes, surfaces that catch light differently. To show this, use the direction of your lines. On the lighter side, keep your lines spaced out and minimal. On the shadow side, add more lines closer together. Give that a try now. Separate the light side and shadow side with your line work. Let's add some texture. For jagged or broken rocks, use short, angular strokes. Little cracks, chips, and sharp edges help give personality. For smooth river stones, soften your lines or even switch to stippling, small dots. Try adding a few cracks or surface marks to at least one of your rocks. Now we'll focus on shading. Start lightly. You can always build darker values gradually. Use hatching for general shading and cross-hatching for deeper shadows. If you're using stippling, begin with sparse dots and increase density in the dark areas. Pause for a moment here and begin shading your rocks, keeping your light source in mind. Lovely. Let's add a few surrounding details to ground the rocks. A rock floating in the middle of the page can look unnatural. Add a cast shadow beneath it, a few small pebbles, blades of grass, or soil texture. This helps your rocks feel settled into a landscape. Go ahead and add some grounding details now. Take a moment to step back and assess your drawing. Do your rocks look solid? Do the shadows feel consistent with the light source? Is there enough contrast between the light and dark areas? If not, add a little more shading or deepen your shadows. And finally, variety. Rocks come in all shapes and personalities. Try adding one more rock with a different character. Maybe a long, flat slate rock or a round, polished stone, using the same techniques. Give yourself a minute to draw an extra rock for practice. Well done. Drawing rocks in pen and ink is an excellent way to study shape, texture, and shadow. The more you practice, the more natural and expressive your rocks will become. Once you're ready, pick up your pen. We'll start by outlining each rock, but rather than drawing a perfectly smooth line, let your hand relax. A rock's edge is rarely flawless. A soft break in the line or a subtle change in direction can beautifully suggest texture and age. Think of the pen gliding around the shape, with small variations that whisper of weathering and time. Before we move into shading, let's decide where the light is coming from. Perhaps from the left or from above. Choose a direction that feels right to you. This single choice will guide every shadow and highlight that follows. Now, begin to introduce structure. Rocks are made up of gentle planes, surfaces that catch the light differently. To show this, alter the direction and density of your line work. Where the light touches, keep your lines soft and sparse. On the shaded side, allow the lines to gather a little closer together, creating depth and form. Let's add a little texture. For a rugged, craggy rock, use short angular strokes to mark small fractures and edges. For a smooth riverstone, try lighter, rounded strokes, or even stippling, using tiny dots to build tone. There's no rush here. Enjoy observing the character of each stone as it develops beneath your pen. When you're ready, begin shading. Start lightly and build slowly. Hatching and cross-hatching are lovely for textured rocks, while stippling creates a soft, almost velvety shadow. Focus on the shape first, then gently deepen the darker areas to give the rock weight and presence. To settle your rocks comfortably into the scene, we'll add a grounding shadow beneath each one. A soft cast shadow helps the rock feel as though it belongs on the earth rather than floating above it. A few blades of grass, a hint of soil, or a scattering of pebbles around the base will enhance this sense of place. Now, take a moment to look at your drawing as a whole. Is the balance of light and shade pleasing? Do the rocks feel solid, as if you could reach out and touch them? If an area feels a little flat, a touch more shading, very gently applied, can bring it to life. As you grow more comfortable, try adding a few stones of different shapes, sizes, and textures. Allow each one to tell its own quiet story. Some may feel ancient and weather-beaten, others smooth and polished from years in a river's flow.